Subscribe.
Welcome to 3 Point Stance Pod, where we don't claim to be experts. We just give our takes. Take it or leave it. We'll be fine either way. This is Octavius Vernell Brown reporting for 3 Point Stance Podcast. Call me OV for short. We are excited to bring you the second episode of our new series, What's With All the Hype. Take a second to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the show in a big way. In this episode, we take on Velus Jones Jr. aka V-12. I'm sure some fans groaned and had flashbacks of muffled punts and dropped passes at the mention of his name. I promise it gets better, kinda like Velus did by the end of the year if you were paying attention. Quick question, with the Bears drafting Tyler Scott in the 4th round, fans believe Velus is a cut candidate. Comment keep, if you think he makes the roster, type cut, if you think the writing's on the wall. So let's get into why you should be hyped about V-12. Let's take a stroll down memory lane. With a new first-time GM in Ryan Poles and head coach in Matt Eberflus, many fans did not know what to expect going into the 22 NFL draft. We had limited picks, 6 to be exact, no first-round pick and 3 would-be day 3 picks after Ryan Pace, the Chicago Bears' previous GM, dealt away draft picks like Uno cards. What many fans did expect is to use one of those picks on offense after not signing one of the top wide receivers or offensive linemen in free agency. Bears fans were in an uproar after the first 2 picks of the 2022 draft were used to add to the Bears secondary. Fans had been dreaming of seeing George Pickens, Sky Moore, Alec Pierce, or at least David Bell being selected and wearing Bears navy and orange. Going into the 3rd round, some fans still held out hope for a wide receiver selection. The Pickens, pun fully intended, were slim, but Jalen Tolbert, David Bell, Khalil Shakir, and Danny Gray were still available. But when the Bears chose
Velus Jones, wide receiver,
fans
Tenessee.
lost their. Velus Jones Jr. was a wide receiver who made his mark mostly as a dynamic kick return specialist until his last year, where he posted 62 catches, 807 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Didn't matter, fans weren't happy with the choice. They felt one season of wide receiver production wasn't enough. After all, between USC and Tennessee, he spent 5 seasons playing college football, but just one being a productive pass catcher.
Subscribe.
He was 24 on draft day but would turn 25 in a month. That's old for a rookie. I mean, not Stetson Bennett old, but old nevertheless. He had an okay training camp and had a few highlight-worthy reps at practices on deep passes that had fans warming up to him. During preseason, he showed his 4.3 speed and playmaking ability on an electric 48-yard return versus Seattle. Unfortunately, fans would have to wait to see more of Jones Jr. on the field as he strained his hamstring during practice just days ahead of his Week 1 debut. It would keep him sidelined till Week 4 versus the New York Giants. Between missing valuable reps during training camp and early season games to get acclimated to the NFL, Velus struggled out the gate. He mishandled punts, dropped a pretty deep shot from Justin Fields versus Dallas, and at one point was benched. What made the benching worse is the Bears' wide receiver room was seen as one of the worst in the NFL, while also dealing with multiple wide receivers missing games due to injury. Even though they were limited in options at wide receiver, they chose to send a message to Velus. Velus did a great job of using the benching as motivation and ended the season on a positive note, making big plays, one being a deep pass on a crossing route beating 2 Buffalo Bills defenders for a huge gain and another on a 42-yard touchdown run versus the Vikings, where it looked like he would be pushed out of bounds, but somehow slipped through a group of blockers and would-be tacklers and dashed down the sideline for 6. While his season stats of 7 receptions, 107 yards, and 1 touchdown at wide receiver leave a lot to be desired, he was great in the kick return game. He ranked 14th in the NFL in kickoff return average at 27.6 and 7th in total kickoff return yards. Mind you, he only played in 12 games in 2022. None of that matters to the Bears fans, who continue to despise the Velus pick. To be fair, in Chicago, kickoff returners don't get shown love unless they score touchdowns. The Chicago Bears also have added 3 wide receivers since the trade deadline of 2022, Chase Claypool, DJ Moore, and Tyler Scott. They also re-signed Equanimeous St. Brown and Dante Pettis to one-year deals. This knocks V-12 further down the depth chart. While the wide receiver room has improved, it's top-heavy, giving Velus a chance to battle it out this offseason to earn a roster spot as the 4th or 5th wide receiver. Admittedly, while writing this, and I'm sure as you've gotten this far, it doesn't feel like as glowing of an endorsement as the previous episode with Chase Claypool. However, in today's NFL, you can't have too many weapons, especially ones that can easily flip field position, instantly putting your offense in great position to score. We should all hope he's fixed the issues from early in his rookie year, and we get to see more of the end of the season V-12, who besides Justin Fields, no other Bears player had as many big 40-plus yard plays. Need I remind you of what he did from Week 11 to the end of the season? Week 11, 55-yard kickoff return versus Atlanta. Week 13, 42-yard kickoff return versus Green Bay. Week 16, 44-yard reception and a 40-yard kickoff return versus Buffalo. Week 17, 63-yard kickoff return versus Detroit. Week 18, 42-yard touchdown run and 28-yard reception versus Minnesota. The fact that fans are down on Velus shows how much they discredit the return game in the NFL. The NFL seems bent on eliminating kickoff returns as much as possible due to injury concerns. Kickoff returners don't get no respect. I'm excited to see Velus take the next step as a wide receiver and contribute to the offensive side of the ball. He can be a major asset where he can be used on jet sweeps, wide receiver screens, slants, and crosser routes. If he finds a crease in the defense, he easily can take it to the house. He can even be used out of the backfield as a runner and receiver, as DJ Moore has done in his career. He's had a year of getting the rookie yips out the way and has another offseason to learn WhAt'S system. We believe as long as he stays focused and healthy, he has the opportunity to be a major contributor on offense and kickoff returns. Get your ticket and hop aboard the V-12 hype train. The train leaves the station now. Or don't, and get left behind. Thank you for taking the time to tune into 3 Point Stance Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to be notified when new content drops. Don't forget to follow Vil and the podcast on Twitter at 3 Point Stance Pod. And as we always say here at 3 Point Stance Podcast, stand for what you believe in. What you believe in. Written by Jonathan Vil Baskerville, creator and host of 3 Point Stance Podcast. All rights reserved.